Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Let's Slam podcast. I am your host, Baho. So today is Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all of the dads out there. You guys are doing great work. I hope you guys are doing great work. Everybody needs a good dad, you know what I mean? But happy Father's Day to you guys. You guys definitely deserved it. All the sacrifices that you guys make for your children. For me, every year, Father's Day is a painful reminder that my dad isn't here anymore. And the missing never goes away. I miss my dad every single day. You know, he passed when I was 21. Just shy of a couple weeks before I turned 22. And one of the things that I really yearned for the most after his passing is the fact that I had so much to learn from him. When he was still around, I never really took time to learn things from him. I usually always brushed it off or pretended like I didn't care or that it didn't matter in life. Especially things like when he would help me fix my car. Back then I knew next to nothing about cars. Even now, I'm still learning about cars. When he would help me fix my cars, I was just the kid holding the flashlight. My dad would be going through the entire process, explaining what this part is, what it does, how to take it out, how to put it back in. And although I pretended that I was listening, I really didn't. And whatever went in one ear came right out the other. And I'm very regretful of that. Because all the lessons that he taught me, I didn't retain a lot of it. And 21 years is just not enough time to learn from a parent or your parents. Life is really so short. Although living and breathing is the longest thing that we actively do, life itself is so short. We're here for such a small speckle of time compared to how long the universe really, or how old the universe really is. You will never escape death. You will never escape the coffin. Life is very finite. One of the things that I wish I could have told my dad more was that I loved him. When my dad and our family found out that he had cancer, I just came back from basic training. I think it was about 2 months after coming back from basic and AIT. And he gets the diagnosis and everyone is obviously in shock. There was a time shortly after we found out that we were in the living room. He sat me and my sister down and he told us that he was very afraid to die. He was very afraid to leave us behind. And he told us that he loved us. Afterwards, he then asked if we loved him. We didn't really know what to say because of how Asian kids are raised. We didn't really give him an answer when he asked us that. We kind of just nodded our head and looked at him. We're not used to telling our parents that we love them in Asian culture. And we don't really hear them tell us that they love us. But although they don't tell us that they love us very often or at all, you can tell that they do just by their actions and the things that they do for us and all the sacrifices that they have made. So yo yu net yu zi chi hai tia lo hlu yu ying bao tia lo hlu yu lo tu ka lo hlo le mu wa ho le mu khu ta ja ka mo nia tu yu net yu zi o cho ja cho ya do yu kan da ke ying zao le ji ta hai tia lo hlu yu ying bao le khó mà cụ chấp lại mà giờ thầu cụ chỉ nông cụ thì giờ cụ bỏ luôn nữa cụ chỉ hay chỉ đó nữa giờ ta xin tới cụ chỉ hay thì cụ luôn nữa. But in hindsight thầu cụ mua xa nè. I really wish that I told him that I loved him in that moment because ý giờ lý cho lâu hay ôn nên nhỏ nó như chuyện chạy chỉ lúc cô mua bông. And that day my dad was crying and I didn't even have the courage to tell him that I loved him. But later on, when my dad started to do his cancer treatments, oftentimes, before he left, I would tell him that I loved him. Me and my brothers, we would all give him hugs before they left. My mom would always tag along with him. And I would hug him very tight and I would tell him that I loved him. And it was during those hard times that I knew that I shouldn't be afraid to tell my dad that I loved him. And I think, if anything, we owe our parents the privilege to tell them that we do love them. Even though they know that we love them through our actions, it's nice to hear it once in a while. So what's it like losing a parent? Imagine this. Somebody that you've known for your entire life, since the day of your birth. They raised you, they fed you, they put the clothes on your back, they bought all your school supplies, all of your toys, bought you your first car, taught you how to drive, put a roof over your head, and then just like that, they're gone. And you never truly get used to it, and you truly never really accept it, at least for me. Because even after all these years that my dad has been gone, I still ask, is he really gone? Because it just feels so unnatural without him. Life feels so weird without him. Because he was around and was by my side for 21 years. When my dad died, I would often go into his room and I would look at the chair that he sat in. And this chair was like those really comfortable ones that could recline and they had a really good cushion on it. We got that chair for my dad because he was getting really sore from laying in bed all day, and I believe he's getting bed sores too. So oftentimes, if not most of the time, right before he passed, he would always be sitting in that chair. And so I would always go into my mom and dad's bedroom and I would look to see if I could see him sitting in that chair. And then this feeling of disbelief overcomes you and you just can't believe and you can't accept that they're really gone. You look at all of the things that they had, their belongings, their clothes, and they're not there to use it anymore. And so for a while, I would constantly go into my parents' room just to see if I can see him again. I was hoping that I could just see his spirit just sitting there. I was hoping that I would see him just roaming around the house, knowing that he's still with us. 依日嚟俾夢境啊，要摸打落，年有年. The land of the living has to live separately from the land of the dead. And so I knew that perhaps I probably wouldn't see my father, no matter how much his soul still wanted to be with us. How I dealt with the loss of my dad, I don't know if anybody can really deal with it. It's more so that life just goes on and you learn from loss. And the thing that makes our life so beautiful is that it doesn't last forever. It's beautiful because it ends. You leave behind a legacy and a family, and people remember you by the things that you did. They remember you for who you are and for the impact that you have made on their life, whether it was big or small. And after my dad died, life really just goes on. You try your best to carry on every day like nothing happened. Because if you don't, then you end up losing your mind. You're sad that they're gone, but you're also happy that they're no longer suffering. And it truly is a bittersweet moment. So for the first time, I really got to learn what it was like to not have my father at the helm, to be leading our family. So in a sense, you really have to become your own man, especially in Hmong culture. But at the end of it all, I'm really grateful that I had my dad. And I hope that in the next life, he's my dad again. Hmong people believe that there is a cycle of death and rebirth. And the goal is that in the next life, you are born into the same family. And I hope that in every single lifetime, I'm his son again. So every Father's Day, it really is bittersweet. I go and I visit him at the cemetery and I bring him food, his favorites. Like he used to love eating fish sandwiches. If I don't bring him a fish sandwich, then I'll bring him like Hmong food. Because I'm pretty sure that he craves that too. I mean, I know I would. So today I brought him Hmong sausages, and Ep.14 with pepper on both dishes. And I called him to come and eat. And I always like imagining that my dad is there with me every time I bring him food. And he's just there, like, enjoying the heck out of it. So it makes me really happy to bring my dad food. And for those of you who are not Hmong and you guys are confused about why I'm bringing food to my dad at the cemetery, is because in a lot of Asian cultures, we believe that if you bring food to the deceased and you can offer it to them, you call their soul and you offer them food, and they can eat it in the afterlife. So before I go, I would like to say that to everybody who listens to this, I hope that you guys do your best to try and learn from your dad. Take in as much information as you can. You might not always like what he has to say, but listen anyways. Because the things that we didn't like our parents telling us when we were younger, they turn out to be true when we are older. And when we look back at it, we're like, damn, my parents were right. And then you have a lot of regret afterwards. But hey, that's just the process of life. Just learn. And tell your dads that you love them. Tell them that you love them before it's too late. Not when they're in the casket. Alright, everybody, that is a wrap for this episode of the Let's Slam podcast. I will see you guys again next time. Please stay tuned. And once again, thank you for all of my subscribers, my viewers, friends and family who support me. I love you guys. You guys are the best. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.